You're listening to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, created to help you succeed in your educational journey. Learn more at baremetalcyber.com, where additional prepcasts, books, and training materials await. Let's get started. One of the defining challenges of artificial intelligence is operating under uncertainty. Unlike textbook problems with complete information, real-world situations are messy, incomplete, and often ambiguous. Data may be noisy, sensors may fail, and environments may change unexpectedly. In these contexts, AI cannot rely solely on rigid logic. It must weigh possibilities and make informed guesses. Uncertainty arises whenever a system cannot determine outcomes with certainty, whether because of missing information, variability in the environment, or inherent randomness. For example, a medical AI may suggest a diagnosis based on symptoms but cannot guarantee accuracy, because symptoms may overlap across multiple conditions. By embracing probability as a mathematical tool, AI systems gain the ability to function effectively despite this uncertainty, making rational decisions even when the future is not fully known. Probability theory provides the mathematical foundation for reasoning under uncertainty. At its core, probability quantifies the likelihood of events, ranging from absolute certainty to impossibility. In AI, probability is used to measure confidence in predictions, evaluate risks, and update beliefs when new evidence appears. For example, a spam filter may estimate that an incoming email has an 85% chance of being spam. This probabilistic assessment reflects uncertainty and provides a rational basis for action. Without probability, I would either oversimplify problems into rigid yes or no answers, or become paralyzed by ambiguity. Probability theory ensures that intelligent systems can operate in the gray areas of reality, where most real-world problems reside. A central concept in probability is the random variable, which captures outcomes that are uncertain. For instance, when rolling a die, the result is a random variable that can take values from 1 to 6, each with equal likelihood. In AI, random variables can represent everything from whether a patient has a disease to the future position of a robot in a room. By modeling situations with random variables, AI systems can formalize uncertainty and reason about possible outcomes. This abstraction allows AI to go beyond guessing, instead systematically analyzing the probabilities associated with different states of the world. Random variables provide the building blocks upon which more complex probabilistic models are built. Probability distributions extend this idea by describing how likely each possible outcome of a random variable is. A distribution might indicate, for example, that there is a 70% chance of rain tomorrow and a 30% chance of no rain. In AI, probability distributions provide a structured way of capturing uncertainty. They allow systems to evaluate not just the most likely outcome but also the full range of possibilities. For instance, in speech recognition, a system may evaluate multiple candidate words and assign probabilities to each, rather than committing prematurely. Probability distributions transform uncertainty from an obstacle into a manageable and quantifiable property, enabling AI systems to act with measured confidence. Conditional probability is another cornerstone of reasoning in uncertain environments. It captures the likelihood of one event given that another event is known. For example, the probability that someone has the flu increases if you know they have a fever. Conditional probability allows AI systems to refine their beliefs as new evidence appears. In diagnostic systems, for instance, the presence of one symptom may increase or decrease the likelihood of certain diseases. This framework enables dynamic reasoning, where knowledge is updated continuously in response to new information. Conditional probability moves AI closer to human-like reasoning, where context shapes how we interpret evidence. Bayes' theorem formalizes how to update beliefs in light of new evidence. It provides a mathematical rule for calculating the probability of a hypothesis given observed data. For example, if a medical test is positive, Bayes' theorem combines the test's reliability with prior knowledge about disease prevalence to calculate the updated likelihood of illness. This process, known as Bayesian inference, allows AI systems to refine their predictions systematically. It reflects the way humans often reason, informally adjusting confidence when new information arises, but with mathematical rigor. Bayes' theorem has become one of the most influential tools in AI, underpinning applications from spam filtering to predictive modeling. Bayesian networks extend this reasoning into structured graphical models. These networks represent variables as nodes and probabilistic relationships as edges, forming a compact way to capture dependencies. For example, a Bayesian network in healthcare might represent how genetics, lifestyle, and symptoms all influence disease risk. By modeling these relationships, the network can perform probabilistic reasoning, answering questions such as, what is the likelihood of disease X given observed symptoms Y? Bayesian networks are powerful because they combine structure with flexibility, making it possible to represent complex domains without requiring exhaustive enumeration of every possibility. They illustrate how probability and representation converge in AI. Markov models provide another framework for reasoning under uncertainty, particularly in sequential processes. A Markov model captures the idea that the probability of the next state depends only on the current state, not on the full history. For example, in predicting the weather, today's conditions may provide enough information to estimate tomorrow's without needing detailed records of the past week. Markov models simplify complex systems by focusing on immediate dependencies. They are widely used in speech recognition, robotics, and other domains where events unfold step by step. By modeling state transitions probabilistically, Markov models give AI systems a way to navigate dynamic and uncertain environments. Hidden Markov models take this a step further by addressing systems where internal states are not directly observable. For example, in speech recognition, the underlying phonemes, sounds, are hidden, while the audio signals are observable. A hidden Markov model links the hidden states to observations, allowing AI systems to infer the most likely sequence of hidden events given observed evidence. This approach has been instrumental in applications like language processing, biological sequence analysis, and tracking. Hidden Markov models highlight how probability enables AI to reason about unseen realities, constructing plausible interpretations of events that cannot be observed directly. Probabilistic reasoning brings together these tools to allow AI systems to draw conclusions under uncertainty. Instead of relying on rigid logic, probabilistic reasoning estimates likelihoods, weighs alternatives, and balances risks. For example, an autonomous vehicle approaching an intersection may not know with certainty whether a pedestrian will cross, but probabilistic reasoning allows it to evaluate risks and act cautiously. This type of reasoning is essential because the real world rarely offers complete certainty. Probabilistic reasoning enables AI to act rationally and responsibly despite ambiguity, bringing it closer to the decision-making processes humans use daily. Decision theory formalizes how AI makes rational choices under uncertainty. It combines probability with models of preference, guiding systems to select actions that maximize benefit while minimizing risk. Decision theory provides the foundation for systems ranging from medical advisors to automated trading agents. It ensures that decisions are not ad hoc, but grounded in a principled framework. For example, when faced with multiple treatment options, a medical AI may weigh probabilities of success against potential side effects, recommending the option with the highest expected benefit. This rational, structured approach allows AI systems to navigate complex choices systematically. Utility functions play a crucial role in decision theory by assigning values to outcomes. These values capture preferences, goals, or rewards, allowing AI to evaluate which outcomes are more desirable. For instance, a self-driving car may assign higher utility to avoiding collisions than to minimizing travel time. By quantifying goals, utility functions give AI a way to prioritize and compare options. They provide the bridge between abstract probabilities and practical decisions, ensuring that actions align with objectives. For learners, utility functions illustrate how AI systems are guided not just by what is likely, but by what is valuable. Expected utility combines probabilities and utilities to guide decisions. It represents the long-term benefit an agent can expect from a given action, weighted by the likelihood of different outcomes. For example, a doctor may weigh the small risk of side effects against the high probability of treatment success, selecting the option with the highest expected utility. AI systems use this principle to select actions that maximize overall benefit, even when outcomes are uncertain. Expected utility provides a rigorous, quantitative framework for rational decision-making, ensuring that choices reflect both likelihood and value. Decision trees provide a practical way to visualize and compute decisions under uncertainty. Each branch represents a possible choice or outcome, with probabilities and utilities guiding the evaluation. For example, a decision tree for medical treatment might branch into treatment A and treatment B, with sub-branches representing possible outcomes and their likelihoods. By working through the tree, the AI can identify which action maximizes expected utility. Decision trees are intuitive and interpretable, making them valuable tools for both machines and humans in structuring decisions. They highlight how probability and utility can be combined to evaluate complex choices systematically. Risk assessment in AI underscores how systems must weigh potential costs against potential benefits when outcomes are uncertain. For instance, an autonomous drone must consider the risk of collision against the benefit of taking a faster route. Risk assessment requires not only probabilistic reasoning, but also value judgments about acceptable levels of risk. These judgments may be context-specific, reflecting ethical, legal, or practical priorities. For learners, risk assessment illustrates the human dimension of probabilistic AI. While machines calculate likelihoods, humans often set the thresholds for what risks are acceptable. This interplay highlights the partnership between AI systems and human oversight. For more cyber-related content and books, please check out cyberauthor.me. Also, there are other prepcasts on cybersecurity and more at baremetalcyber.com. Probabilistic planning expands on traditional planning methods by explicitly considering uncertainty in outcomes. Unlike deterministic planning, where each action leads to a predictable result, probabilistic planning acknowledges that actions may have multiple possible consequences. For example, a robot navigating a cluttered room may turn left expecting a clear path, but with some probability, it may encounter an obstacle. Probabilistic planning models these possibilities and selects strategies that maximize the chance of success over time. This approach makes AI systems more robust in dynamic environments, where unpredictability is the norm. It demonstrates how probability enriches planning by providing a structured way to manage risk and adapt to uncertainty. Reinforcement learning relies heavily on probability, particularly in the form of uncertain rewards and policies. Agents act in environments where the outcome of each action is not guaranteed, receiving rewards that are probabilistic rather than deterministic. Over time, reinforcement learning agents use these probabilistic signals to refine their behavior, balancing exploration of new strategies with exploitation of known ones. For example, an AI learning to play a video game may not know whether a new strategy will succeed, but probabilistic rewards guide its adaptation. This probabilistic underpinning makes reinforcement learning flexible, allowing agents to thrive in complex and uncertain environments by treating decision-making as a continuous process of updating expectations. Monte Carlo methods provide powerful tools for approximating probabilities and outcomes through repeated random sampling. Instead of attempting exact solutions, which may be computationally impossible, Monte Carlo simulations approximate results by running large numbers of trials. For example, to estimate the chance of winning a game given a certain strategy, I can simulate thousands of plays and analyze outcomes. Monte Carlo methods are particularly valuable in domains like finance, robotics, and physics, where uncertainty is pervasive and exact models are impractical. These methods highlight the pragmatic side of probabilistic AI, where approximation through simulation becomes a pathway to effective decision-making. Sampling techniques are fundamental to probabilistic inference, enabling AI systems to approximate distributions and make predictions. Methods such as importance sampling and Markov chain Monte Carlo allow systems to focus computational resources on the most relevant parts of a probability distribution. For example, in Bayesian networks, sampling helps estimate probabilities when exact calculations are infeasible. Sampling techniques bridge the gap between mathematical theory and computational feasibility, making probabilistic reasoning scalable. They demonstrate how AI systems manage the trade-off between accuracy and efficiency, extracting meaningful insights from uncertainty without becoming overwhelmed by complexity. Probabilistic robotics demonstrates how these ideas apply in the physical world, where uncertainty is unavoidable. Robots must act on imperfect sensor data, noisy signals, and unpredictable environments. Probabilistic approaches allow robots to maintain beliefs about their state and update them as new information appears. For instance, a self-driving car may estimate its position on a map using GPS, LiDAR, and camera data, all of which carry uncertainty. By combining these inputs probabilistically, the car can navigate safely despite imperfect information. Probabilistic robotics illustrates how probability transforms uncertainty from a liability into a manageable feature of intelligent action. Natural language processing is another domain deeply influenced by probabilistic models. Speech recognition, for example, relies on probabilistic mappings from sound waves to phonemes, and then to words and sentences. Early statistical language models assigned probabilities to word sequences, estimating how likely one word is to follow another. This probabilistic framework enabled machines to handle the ambiguity of human language, where many interpretations are possible. Even today, while deep learning dominates, probability remains embedded in the way models interpret and generate language. By quantifying uncertainty in word meanings and sentence structures, probabilistic methods allow AI to interact with human language in a flexible, adaptive way. Predictive analytics uses probability to forecast trends and behaviors in diverse fields such as business, healthcare, and finance. By analyzing past data, probabilistic models estimate the likelihood of future outcomes. For example, a retail company may predict the probability that a customer will make a purchase given browsing patterns, or a hospital may assess the likelihood of patient readmission. These forecasts are not certainties but probabilistic estimates, which provide valuable guidance for planning and decision-making. Predictive analytics illustrates how probability enables organizations to move from reactive responses to proactive strategies, turning uncertainty into actionable foresight. Anomaly detection provides another key application of probability. By modeling the expected distribution of events or behaviors, AI systems can flag unusual occurrences that deviate from the norm. For example, in cybersecurity, probabilistic models may detect anomalies in network traffic that suggest intrusions. In finance, unusual transaction patterns may signal fraud. Anomaly detection is powerful precisely because it embraces uncertainty. It does not need to predict specific malicious events, but instead identifies statistical outliers. This application demonstrates how probability equips AI to recognize the unexpected, a capability essential in safety-critical and high-stakes environments. Probabilistic graphical models represent an advanced class of methods that combine graph structures with probability distributions. These models, such as Bayesian networks and Markov random fields, allow AI systems to capture complex dependencies among variables. They provide a structured way to represent uncertainty across interconnected domains, enabling sophisticated reasoning. For example, a probabilistic graphical model might represent how genetics, lifestyle, and medical history jointly influence disease risk. These models balance expressive power with computational feasibility, offering a versatile toolset for domains where relationships among variables matter as much as the variables themselves. Calibration of probabilities is a subtle but important issue in AI. A well-calibrated model produces probability estimates that match real-world frequencies. For example, if a weather model predicts a 30% chance of rain on 100 days, it should actually rain on about 30 of those days. Poorly calibrated models may produce overconfident or underconfident predictions, undermining trust. Calibration ensures that probabilities are meaningful, not just abstract numbers. For learners, this highlights that probability in AI is not only about computation, but also about alignment with reality. Reliable calibration is crucial for systems that inform human decision-making, where trust depends on accuracy. Decision-making under uncertainty always involves trade-offs. AI systems must balance accuracy, speed, resource use, and risk. A medical diagnostic tool, for instance, must weigh the benefits of early detection against the costs of false positives. A financial I must trade off quick decisions against thorough risk assessment. These trade-offs reflect the practical constraints of real-world environments, where resources are finite and outcomes have consequences. By framing decisions probabilistically, AI systems can navigate these trade-offs explicitly, providing rational guidance rather than arbitrary choices. This balance is what makes probabilistic decision-making both powerful and realistic. Human-in-the-loop decision-making highlights the partnership between AI and people in managing uncertainty. In many critical domains, medicine, aviation, defense, AI provides probabilistic assessments, but humans make the final choices. This collaboration leverages the strengths of both. AI processes massive data efficiently, while humans contribute context, judgment, and ethical reasoning. For example, a medical I may suggest probable diagnoses, but a doctor interprets them in light of patient history and values. Human-in-the-loop systems ensure that probabilistic AI remains accountable and aligned with human goals, demonstrating that uncertainty does not exclude responsibility, but instead reinforces the need for shared decision-making. The ethical implications of probabilistic AI are profound. When systems make decisions based on probabilities, fairness, bias, and transparency become pressing concerns. For instance, predictive policing models may unfairly target certain communities if their training data is biased. Credit scoring systems may produce probabilities that disadvantage underrepresented groups. Ethical use of probability in AI requires careful attention to data quality, interpretability, and accountability. Transparency in how probabilities are calculated and applied is essential for building trust. These challenges remind us that probability is not value neutral. It encodes assumptions and impacts lives. Ethical oversight ensures that probabilistic reasoning serves society responsibly. Advances in probabilistic programming are making it easier to build sophisticated models. Probabilistic programming languages allow developers to specify models using high-level code, while underlying systems handle the complexities of inference and sampling. Tools such as Stan, Pyro, and Edward have democratized access to probabilistic modeling, allowing more researchers and practitioners to apply these methods without mastering every mathematical detail. Probabilistic programming represents a leap in accessibility, much like open-source frameworks did for deep learning. For learners, it signals that probability is not only foundational, but also increasingly practical, supported by tools that simplify its application. The future of uncertainty modeling in AI is likely to involve deeper integration with other paradigms. Research is exploring ways to combine probability with logic, creating systems that reason formally while handling uncertainty gracefully. Similarly, probability is being woven into deep learning, producing models that not only make predictions but also estimate confidence levels. These hybrid approaches promise AI that is both flexible and interpretable, capable of navigating ambiguity while remaining accountable. For learners, the message is clear. Mastering probability and decision-making under uncertainty is not just about current applications, but also about preparing for the evolving frontier of AI. Thanks for tuning in to the Bare Metal Cyber Prepcast, your trusted source for cybersecurity news and insights. Remember to subscribe at baremetalcyber.com so you never miss an update. And visit cyberauthor.me for best-selling cybersecurity books that equip you with expert knowledge. Until next time, stay secure and stay vigilant.